Hey there, everybody. CP Cards and Dice, and welcome to another presentation of our 1973 alternative replay using replay baseball. It's the Mets versus the A's in the World Series, and it's going to be Kenny Holtzman versus the Ryan Express. The alternative here is that Ryan was never traded for Jim Fregosi, and the Mets still have him, and I think that would have made the difference. Now, there's another. I want to play the 84 season, the Mets 84 season and 85 season with Tom Seaver. Had he never gone to the White Sox in that free agent draft, I believe that he was still good enough to really make up the difference. I mean, the Mets had a great season in 84 and 85. And I think he would have been basically the player that would have gotten them over the hump. But I'm going to get started right here real quick, playing replay baseball. And it's going to be Campy leading it off at shortstop, Rudy in left field, batting second, batting third is Sal Bando, batting cleanup is Reggie Jackson, Gene Tennis, the first baseman, right field is Alu, Fossey is the catcher, batting seventh, batting eighth is Dick Green, the second baseman, batting ninth is Kenny Holtzman. Let's get started, and let's see what happens. So it's Nolan Ryan versus Bert Campaneris. That's going to be a column 2 result, and it's a 3 off the batter, which is a 16, and the 2 off the pitcher, which is a 1. So that's a 17, and the 17 column 2 says a strikeout. So the Ryan Express blows one by, and then it has another little gadget there. It says a W, and then it has a something or other, a star. A W star, let me see what that says. A star means the pitcher beside grade 2, 12 to 16 are changed to a pop out. Okay, so he's got that there. And then he had a W beside his grade with 12 to 16 are changed to base on balls. But we rolled a 17, so all right. Next batter is Joe Rudy. So it's a 4 column and 2 for the batter, which is a 1. And then a 6 for the pitcher, which is second base. And I know that second baseman Mian, I think, is a 1. So that's a 2, column 4, and that's a ground ball that Mian gets to easily. So you start learning the results. I may make a mistake, but then eventually I catch it. And it's not the end of the world. I don't think it's a major mistake. I'm pretty confident in that one. If I have doubts, I will double check. And that's a 2 column result. And then a 6, which is a 60 with a raised number of 2. And then that's where the issues come in. It's shaded and there's a raised number of 2. Now, I'm not going to follow all that right now. I'm not going to worry about that until I figure out what the heck's going on. It's a 2 and a 4, and that's a 1, and that's got a W and a star. See, that's the thing with that. I ignore all that. So right now I'm going for the 60, and it's going to be a 61 on column 2. 61 on column 2, it says a drive towards the gap. And it tells me, okay, what'd you roll on the blue? The blue's a 4, so it's a center field. So if the outfielder rating is higher than the raised number is a 2. And the outfielder, center fielder, is Han, and I believe he's a 4. So that means he probably catches up to it. So if the outfielder's rating is higher than the raised number, besides the 60, the batter's card, the fielder makes a fine running catch. Great. F8. And that retires the side, 3 up, 3 down. So Bando flies out, and Don Hahn makes a fine running catch, as they say. Wayne Garrett. So let's change this light a little bit because I feel like I'm getting a little bit too much shade here. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody's following the directions of the CDC. Wayne Garrett versus Kenny Holtzman. And that's going to be a 6 result, 6 column, and a 9, and then a 6-4, and that's 11. Kenny Holtzman, the pitch to Wayne Garrett in 11 is line, base hit, right field. So that's a single. And what I do now is just put a line down there. 2 lines for a double, 3 lines for a triple, and 4 lines for a homer, because it gives me much more space in the box. I find that these boxes are pretty tight. Felix Mian. And hit and run is down here. So we're going to use the hit and run. I don't do it very often, but I'm going to do it here. So it's a 5. It's a 5 column. And a 2 is a 27. And then a 6 is a 30. Oh, wait. We're using the, I guess we're using the 5 column would be a 13, right? A 13, and then the 6 is going to be a 16, a 5-16, and that is infield single. Infield singles are back-to-back hits for the Mets. Mets lead the series 3-0, by the way. And then I get an M chart result. And what do I do with the M chart? Oh, this is not good. Because I've been cleaning up my area because I'm getting ready to redo the room. And I'm getting ready to redo the room. So I've been tidying up, putting my cards, consolidating. And now, where's that chart? Let's see if it's over here. Got it. M chart. Let's see what happens on the M chart. Let's roll these 3. And it's an 8. M chart. An 8 says potential wild pitch. And it says if blue die is higher than the wild pitch rating on Holtzman, Holtzman's wild pitch rating is a 1. If the blue die is higher, all runners advance 1 base on a wild pitch. So Holtzman spikes 1, and that's going to allow both runners to move up. So it's going to be a wild pitch. And you can go there to second. So it's second and third now, and Rusty Staub is the batter. Rusty Staub is a dangerous hitter. Le Grand Orange, he batted .279 with 15 home runs. And here's the pitch. That's a 5 column. 5 column 6 is a 3. And then for the pitcher, it's going to be another 3, so that's a 6. A 6 on column 5, and that says base on balls. With runner on first only or bases full, the count is 2 balls. So bases are loaded. Garrett at third, Millan at second, Staub at first, and it's Cleon Jones. Infield's going to be back right now. It's, you know what, they're going to bring the infield in. We're going to bring the infield in. It's going to be a 6 and a 3 is a 16. And then a 5 is a 19. And a 19 is going to be a deep fly to right field, sacrifice fly. That's going to score 1 run. And then that's the nice thing about replay. It tells you exactly what happens. Sacrifice fly, any runner scores from third with less than 2 outs. Any runner on second tags up and moves to third. That solved me a lot of headache right there. And then he's going to go to third. So it's going to be a sacrifice fly. And that's going to go to third on a 4. And that was to, who do we say? 19 was to right field. Put a little dot there for an RBI. The Mets are up 1-0. Cleon Jones. And runners on first and third, infield is in. Here's the pitch to Johnny Milner. 1, and then a 5 is going to be a 4. And then a 1 and a 2 is a 6. That's a strike 3. And a 6, but it has that little thingamajig. The batter has it's a symbol. I can't even describe that symbol. I got to find out what it's called. It's like pointing up. It's like a little umbrella symbol, a pointing umbrella. With runner on third base and less than 2 out, it's a sacrifice fly to the outfield. Okay, so this is going to be a sacrifice fly. Oh, wait a second. Runner holds, strikeout, but then with 7, 8, 9, and 10, it has to be with those results. Okay, not with the strikeout result. Okay, it's a strikeout. Out number 2. Milner goes down swinging. Oh, and it's Joe. And it's a foul ball. Let's start all that all over again. It's a 5 column. 5 column 4 is a 27. And then another 4 is a 28. 5, 28, and it's a fly to right. And that's going to be the third out. And it's going to be 1 run for the Mets on 2 hits. And Mets lead it. So that was, let's double check that. It was a 28, column 5, 28. It says, if batter has a little umbrella symbol besides his result with a runner on third base and less than 2 out. Okay, same thing as before. Okay, cool. I'm starting to learn the game. I'm playing one game a week. It's like my Sunday night baseball, but I realize it's Monday. I was supposed to play it last night, but I don't know what happened to me. I just ran out of gas. All right, we're in the top of the second inning. It's going to be Reggie Jackson against Nolan Ryan. This is our alternative 1973 World Series with Nolan Ryan. The Mets are up 3-0. Ryan won the first game he pitched. I plan to pitch him game 1, game 4, and game 7 if it gets that far. So it's going to be a column 6, and then a 1 is a 58, and then the 2 is a 59. So it's a 6-column 59, and that's going to be a single to left. So Reggie singles to start off the top of the second inning. All right, Gene Tennis. I think he was an MVP of the 72 World Series. That's a 6. And a 3 is a 36. And then a 2 is a 37. And that's a strikeout. So Nolan Ryan picks up his second strikeout of the game. Vic Davalillo. Oh, it's supposed to be it's Alu. Alu started in this game. So let's find out where he is. Let's not put that there. Let's put that here. That's New York. And this is the A's. So we're going to bring in Alu. There he is, Jesus Alu. With a runner on first base and 1 out. Here's the pitch from Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan was 21-16 with 326 innings pitched and a 2.87 ERA. So that's going to be a 1 column. 1 column, and that's a 6, a 45, and a 1 is a 46. 146, and that is a strikeout. Oh, with infield halfway, it's a comebacker to the pitcher. Okay, and it could be a 1-6-3 double play. Scored as a ground ball back to the pitcher, who throws to second for the force out, and try for the double play with bases loaded, force out at home. Roll 1 die against the pitcher's defense rating. If the die is higher, score it as a double play. Okay. So his defense rating, let's see if I can find it. That's another thing with these cards. They got a lot of. His defense rating is a 4. That's a 5. So if it's higher, it's a double play. So it's a 1-6-3 double play. Mets are out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit. We go bottom of the second. All right, it's Don Hahn. Here goes. Column 4. And it's a 6, it's a 2, and a 6 is a second base. That's I think green is what? Green is a 1, so that's a 2. That's a ground ball second base. 1 up, 1 down. Kenny Holtzman, the lefty, he's originally a Chicago Cub, and then he goes to the Yankees. Buddy Harrelson, 3 column. A 1 is a 13. And a 3 is a 2. That's a 15. So a 3 column 15, and that is lined and caught by the second baseman Green, L4. 2 up, 2 down. Next is the pitcher, Nolan Ryan. It's going to be a 6. And a 4 is a 36, and a 5 is a 39, and that's strike 3. Side retired. 3 up, 3 down. We're in the top of the third. I started this at 8. My hope was that I could finish it in an hour. But for some reason, it really takes a long time for me to move through this game. It's a 4, and a 1 is a 17. And then a 3 is going to be third base, and that is Garrett. Garrett is a 2 at third base. So a 2, and what did I say the other one was? 4 and a 1. It was an 18. So it's a 17 plus a 1 or a 2, right? I said 2. Okay, so it's going to be 19, and that's going to be a potential error. 19 is a potential. Oh no, grounds are out at first. All right, so it's going to be a 4-3. No, 5-3, excuse me. So Fosse grounds out. 1 up, 1 down. Next is Dick Green. And it's going to be a 6 roll, and a 2 is a 7, and a 1 is an 8. And an 8 is going to be line base hit left field, played on a hop by Cleon Jones. Green is on at first. Now we got to do a bunt rating. Bunt rating is a 3, and that goes on our chart here. I think it's in the back of this main chart. Let's see where the bunt is. Yeah, sacrifice bunt. They're playing in. He's a 3. We're going to roll. And it's a 7. A 7 says sacrifice. Who's a 2? A 4 is at first baseman. So it's going to be 3-4. Sac. 3-4. And over to second is Green. So we got the tying run in scoring position for Campy Campaneris, who batted .250. Never much more than a .250 hitter was Campy Campaneris. Good defensive player, and good base runner. And wasn't one to walk much either. That's a 5 column. A 5 column 2 is a 27, and then a 3 is going to be a 32. And a 5 column 32 is a fly ball left field. And that's going to retire the side. And it's no runs, 1 hit. We go to bottom of the third. Campaneris flies out to Cleon Jones. And we go to the bottom of the third with Wayne Garrett leading us off. Kenny Holtzman, 4 column again. Not my favorite column, 18. And then a 6 is second base. And what was the second baseman? What did we say? Green was did I write it down? I didn't write it down. Green was a 1 at second base, and it's a 56. So it's going to be a 1 and a 56. And we're going to have to roll for this. And it's no error, so it's a 4-3 put out. Next is Felix Mian. Yeah, it's a 2 roll. It's a 2 roll, and a 6 is a 55. And then a 2 is a 55, 58. 58 on column 2 says, all right, it's going to be a 2, and that's going to be to left field. And then we have to roll. So if the defensive, okay, we don't have to roll. It's a 4 now. If the defensive rating is higher than the raised number, besides the 55, the batter's card, he has made a fine running catch in left field. So our left fielder is Rudy, and Rudy's pretty darn good, and he's a 5, so he's going to make the catch. Right? So let me double check that. If the outfielder's rating is higher, and it is, he's a great fielder. Joe Rudy in all the different games, he's very highly regarded, including deep drive baseball. He's a 5. All right, so it's Rusty Staub. What did I just do? Wait a second. Rudy's there. All right, Mian flies out, and it's a 6 column. Rusty Staub. And it's going to be a 9, and a 5 is a 3. That's a 12, and a 12 is a deep drive to right field. And back goes the right fielder. Alu to the track, to the wall, looks up, gone. 2-0 Mets. So Rusty Staub connects here. Drives one over the right field fence to give the Mets the second run of the game. And it's Cleon Jones. It's a column 1. And a 4 is a 35, and then a 2 is a 2. That's a 37. 137. That's a ground ball, second base. Up with it is Green, throws him out, and that retires the side. But Mets pick up another one. 1 run, 1 hit. Going to the top of the 4th, the Mets lead the series 3-0 and the game 2-0. It's going to be Joe Rudy leading it off against the Ryan Express. It's a 1 column 5, which is a 1. And then a 1 column, that's a strikeout. Rudy down swinging. That's his 3rd strikeout of the game for Nolan Ryan. All right, Sal Bando. It's a 5, and a 2 is a 27, and a 1 is a 32, and a 5, 32, and that's a, but with the K, wait a second, if the pitcher has a K beside his column 5, the result, any out with runners on base scored as a strikeout. There's nobody on base, so it's a fly ball to, what do we say was, 27 and 5, 32, fly ball left. Right there is Jones, squeezes it for out number 2. And let's see. You can still see it. Let's bring it down just a little bit. Got a lot of space at the bottom and really no space at the top. All right, so Reggie Jackson now. Cleanup batter. Uh-oh. That's trouble. That's going to be a 2. That's a 9. And a 1 is a 1. That's a 10. And a 10 is a line single. He's got some numbers and letters there. He's got a K and a 4. If the pitcher has a raised number beside his 6 column, and the result is a home run, roll 1 die. Okay, it's not a home run, so it's a single. So Jackson is 2 for 2. It's the second single of the game. And now it's Gene Tenace, who's got good power. Gene Tenace hit 24 home runs. So here goes. And it's a 2 column, which is not really good for home runs. 11. And then a 5 is a 1. That's a 12. 2 column 12, and that's going to be a single. Let's see if there's any special indicators. He's got a W. I don't think that W. Oh, wait a second. If pitcher has a W beside his 2 column with bases empty, result 12. Oh, there's a runner on first base, though. So it's going to be a single. Runner advances with 2 outs. Runner advances, runner at second. Oh, runner advances 1 base. So first and second, 2 outs. And it's Alou. We're in the top of the 4th. Mets are up 2-0. That's a 3. And a 5 is a 3. And then a 3 is a 4. 3-4. And that is a short fly to right field. Racing in is, who's out there? Staub, and makes a fine running catch. And that retires the side. No runs, 2 hits. Again, the A's struggle leaving men on base. They get them on base, but they can't bring them home. And bottom of the 4th, John Milner. So 1 column. 3 is a 2. And 6 is, that's a strikeout. Milner strikes out for the 2nd time. 1 up, 1 down. Jerry Grody's next. So 4 column. 4 column 1 is a 1. 4 column 1 is a first baseman. And the first baseman is Tenace. Tenace can't be, has to have a low number there. I mean, Tenace is a 3 first baseman. And that's going to be a ground ball to first base, unassisted. That was Grody. Makes the second out of the inning on the ground ball, and Kenny Holtzman to Don Hahn. It's a 3 column now. 3 column 3 is a 5, and a 1 is a 7. 3-7. That's going to be line base hit. 2 out single for Don Hahn. Buddy Harrelson is next. It's a 5, and it's a 1. It's a 5, and then a 6. It's an 8. So 5-8, and that's going to be ball 4. So with 2 outs or 2 men on, Hahn goes to second, and it's going to bring up Nolan Ryan, not really known for his hitting prowess. It's a 2 column. 2 column 3 is a 2, and then a 4 is a 5 total. And that's going to be strike 3, and that retires the side. So no runs, 1 hit. We're in the 5th. Trying to get through this game in an hour. My wife has to use this office for something she's got to take care of. So let's see what happens. Ray Fosse. That's a 5, and a 4 is a 27. 27. And a 6 is a 30. 630 is a single to center field. So that was a 27, and then a 5-5. It's a 32. Oh no, 5-6 is a 32. I think I said 30. 32 is a pop-up to third base. Glad I double-checked that, because it's a 4 is a 27, and then a 5 is a 32, and that's a pop-up to third base. Right under it is third baseman Garrett. So Fosse makes the first out of the inning. Top of the 5th, 2-0 Mets. This is game 4. Mets are up 3-0. They lead the series 3-0. And that's a 4 column. Again, a fielding column. That's a 6. And then a 5 is going to be shortstop. And the shortstop, Harrelson, we didn't write down what he is, but we can do that quickly. Harrelson is a 253. A 253. And what do we say? It was a 4, it's a 1, and then a 2, that's a 3. That's a ground ball that Harrelson gets to. Fires the first, a little low, scooped out by the first baseman Milner, but that's out number 2. And now it's Ryan to the pitcher Holtzman. That's a 3 column. 3 column 5 is a 29. And then a 5 is a 30. 3 column 30, and that's going to be a fly ball left field. There is Jones, makes the catch, and that retires aside. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom of the 5th. So Ryan is really cruising along here. It's allowed 4 hits so far in 5 innings. Wayne Garrett leading us off. It's a 4 column. And a 1 is an 11. And a 6 is a second base. And that's in a 12. Column 4, 12. And that's a possible error. So we're going to roll to see. On Green, Green's error rating is 56, and that's a 56, so he's good. So he makes the play. 1 up, 1 down. Just made it. And it's Felix Millan. 4 column again. A 2 is an 11, and a 1 is a first base. First base tennis. I believe he's a 3. We saw that before. So that's going to be a 3, and that's going to be a 14. 14 column 4, and that's a possible error. And we didn't write what tennis was. We should do that. Tennis is a 35, so that could be a possible error. See what happens. Nope, 26, so he makes a play. Flips to the first base, the pitcher covering for out number 2. And now it's Rusty Staub. Staub hit a home run and walked in this game. It's a 5, and a 6 is a 3. And then that's a 4, 5, 4, and that's a ground ball, shortstop. Campaneris fires the first and gets Staub with plenty of time. We go to top of the 6th. No runs, no hits in the bottom of the 5th. 2-0 Mets. Bert Campaneris leading it off against the Ryan Express. That's going to be a column 4, and a 2 is a 2. And then it's a second baseman, Millan. What did we say Millan was? We didn't. He's a 261. And that's, I guess, a 2, and what do we say, a 2 and a 2? 2 and a 2 is a 4, and that's going to be a ground ball that Millan gets to. 1 up, 1 down. Next is Joe Rudy, column 1. A 6 is a 45, and a 3 is a 46, column 1, 46. And that is possible. Oh, that's strike 3. Fastball gets Rudy. 2 outs. Top of the 6th. 2-0 Mets. 3 column. 4 is a 57. And a 5 is a 58. 3-5. 358 is a rare play, potential rare play. It's usually a rare play. Oh, no, not in this case. We played as a 53 dribbler toward the mound. Pitcher tries to retire the runner of choice with 2 outs, 1-3, and that retires the side. All right. No runs, no hits. We go to bottom of the 6th. I may get this over with in 1 hour. Within 1 hour, that'd be great. And the Mets win it all. And it's a column 4 again. 16. And then a 6 is a second base. So it's going to be, what did I say? Green was a 1, right? So that's going to be a 4-1, 60. It's going to be a 17. And we're going to roll 56. And that's a ball that Green gets to. 1 up, 1 down. Johnny Milner next. A 2 and a 1 is a 37. That's a 41, a 241. And that's a ground ball, shortstop. Charging it is Campaneris, throws on the run and gets Milner. Milner hustling down the line for once. Jerry Grody. That's a 6. And a 6 is a 7. And a 5 is a 3. That's a 10. That's line. Base hit, center field. Grody on with a single, a 2-out single for Jerry Grody. Next is Don Hahn. So 1 results, and a 4 is a 35, and a 2, that's a 37. 137, and that's a ground ball, second base. Right there is green. Over to first, retires the side. No runs, 1 hit, go to top of the 7th. I've heard guys tell me that they can play this in 20 minutes. I believe it. Once you know the results pretty much and you memorize most of the chart, you can play it really fast. So slowly but surely I get there. I'm thinking of setting up a schedule where I play different games. Hey, Tabletop Sports Delaware. Great to see you. I'm thinking of setting up a schedule where I play one game on a Monday, one game on a Tuesday, a different game on a Wednesday. I was thinking of doing something like that just to create some structure for myself because I'm all over the place. I feel like, I got cards everywhere from different sets and it's just a mess. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out some sort of structure, but I don't want to be too structured. Reggie Jackson, pitch from Nolan Ryan. That's why we're doing this. We're replaying the 73 series as if Nolan Ryan were on the team. He hadn't been traded. That's one of the, I guess, 2 most embarrassing trades in Met history, right? Nolan Ryan and Tom Seaver was the other one. Preposterous. Why would you ever do something like that? That's a 9, and then a 5 is a 12, and that I think is going to be a deep drive for Reggie Jackson, and that ball is launched off the bat of Jackson to the wall goes Staub, and he looks up, and that's gone. So that's going to we're going to put 4 lines here, and that's a home run. And we're going to, not only that, we're going to start circling the home runs, I guess. I can do that. Makes it easier to stand out. So it's 2-1 now. Reggie Jackson gets a hold of 1. Gene Tennis. Now, Gene Tennis got good power, hit 24 home runs, but that's a 5. And a 5 and a 5 is a 20. And then a 1 is a 25, 525. And that is ball 4. So a home run and a walk. How often have you seen that? Now we got to go to the M chart. I'm going to roll on the M chart. See if there's a wild pitch or something to that effect. That's a 7. And a 7 is going to be a potential wild pitch. And that tells me on the M chart, wild pitch, if the blue die is higher than the pitcher's WP rating, yep, it is, because Ryan's wild pitch rating is a 0. So even a 1 is higher than that. So it's a wild pitch, and that puts the tying run at second base. But that creates a situation that I may have to pinch run for Gene Tennis. And then that would Gene Tennis is the first baseman. Okay, and then Darren Johnson would be a first baseman that could come in. We need somebody who can run well. Let's see. The speed is at top. Let's see if we have any pinch runners. I guess Davalillo is really fast, right? Davalillo. The pitchers are in blue and the fielders are in red. I know Campaneris is really fast. Let's see. He's a 5. Yeah, the higher the number, the faster the player. So Davalillo is going to come in and then he's going to stay into play first base. But we need to get him running. He's a 4, so he's going to pinch run. So Davalillo. And he's going to be pinch runner and then first base. And he's a 4'11". Terrible first baseman. All right, so he's going to run for Tennis. So we got a speedster out there now. Let's remove Tennis. Tennis is out. Put him at the bottom of the deck. So the tying run is at second base with nobody out. Jesus Alou is the batter. Now, do I try to bunt? I'm going to try to bunt. I never, ever do this, but I'm going to try to bunt in this case just because it's a tying run. And I want the series to end. I want to see Tom Seaver one more time. That's let's see. The bunt goes back here on this chart. So I'm still learning this darn thing. So the bunter Alou is a 2 bunt. And I'm not going to bring the infield in because I can't be sure that he's bunting. He's the guy who I wasn't even sure that I was bunting, so I don't know that the defense can know that he's bunting. So it's not in. So it's going to be an 11, and 11 is going to say sacrifice. Successful sacrifice. The 6 says to the catcher, so it's going to be a 2-4 sacrifice. And that's batter number 6. So batter number 6 sends him to third base, and the tying run is 90 feet away. 2-1 Mets with Davalillo, the pinch runner, third base. So Ray Fosse, sacrifice fly, will do it here. See what happens. And I think Nolan Ryan's going to have to reach back for a little extra. All right, it's a 4. That's a defensive rating. And a 1 is a 17. Uh-oh, that's not good. 17. And a 5 is the shortstop. Shortstop is Buddy Harrelson, and we said he's a 53. Well, let's see what happens. It could be an error. And it's not. The infield is in. So let's see what happens with the infield in. I don't even know how to play this with the infield in. Hold on a second. Infield in. Okay. Possible error. Roll against the fielder's error rating. If not higher, play is same as 7, 8 above. Slow grounder. Defense has 2 options. Take the shore out at first or try for the lead runner. Roll 1 die against the runner's speed. If higher, he is out on the fielder's choice. Wow. And I brought in that pinch runner, right? Am I a genius or what? So Davalillo is a 4. So I have to try here in the 7th. I'm not going to let them tie this up. There's already 1 out, and I have a runner at first, and it'll be a slow runner, Fosse. So it won't be the end of the world. So I'm going to try to go for the runner at the plate. So Buddy Harrelson is going to try for the runner at home. We need it to be a 5 or a 6. Oh, he got it. Got it. He's out at home. Oh, all right. 6-2, and Davalillo's tagged out by Jerry Grody. Great tag. Great throw by Buddy Harrelson. And that's 2 outs now. And the Mets still lead it by a score of 2-1. All right. And it's Dick Green. 2 outs, run around first. Nolan Ryan to Green, that's a 1. And then a 4 is a 35. And then a 4 is a 36, 136. 136 is a ground ball to the third baseman, Garrett. Goes to second and for the force, and that retires the side. But the A's pick up 1 run on the home run, and they trail by 1 run, 2-1. 2-1 Mets. Wow, that was an exciting inning. So Buddy Harrelson decides he's going to try to get Davalillo on a slow grounder. He scooped it on the run, fired a bullet to the catcher, Grody, and the tag was right there, and they got Vic Davalillo trying to score the tying run. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Harrelson, Ryan, and let's check both pitchers. One can go 34, the other one go 29. All right, we're still good. Buddy Harrelson's up. Here goes. It's a 5. 5 and a 5 is a 20, and then a 1's a 21. 5-21, and that is a base on balls. So let's double check that. It's a 20 and a 21. There is a raised number there. Let's see if it says anything about raised numbers. If the pitcher has a raised number on result, no, that's only on result 6, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. So basically, you got to see if you memorize certain things, it goes a little bit faster and it's not as complicated. But you got to memorize like certain little things. Let's see, where was I? Oh, it's the M chart. So walk in an M chart. So Harrelson on the M chart. Let's see what happens. What do I do with my M chart? There it is. Let's say 5 on the M chart. It's a potential wild pitch. We rolled a 1, and Holtzman is a 1. So it says blue die is higher. It's a wild pitch. And it's not higher, so there's no wild pitch. Okay. So it's blocked by Fosse. And Ryan is up, and we're going to bunt with Ryan. So let's try that. Infield's in on Ryan's bunt, and he's a 3, and we roll an 11. I believe that's a good bunt. Let's see, where is it? He is a, what did I say he was? He was a 3. Infield is in, and an 11. Oh, it's a fielder's choice potential error. And the fielder's the third baseman. So let's see. So it's going to be either a fielder's choice, getting him at second base. Let's see if there's an error on Bando. A 35. I don't know what Bando is. Let's check it out. Bando is a 23. Oh, it is an error on Bando. He bobbles the ball, drops it, and everybody's safe. So he's a 3E23. So a 320, 23. And that's a 3. Roll higher than that, so that's an error. So this game is a little bit different than inside pitch, which is the opposite. If you roll higher, it's good. If you roll within the range, then it's bad. So they just do all that stuff to screw you up. So it's going to be a sacrifice. It's going to be an E5. So no at bat charge to Ryan, but it's going to be runners on first and second now. Kenny Holtzman's still in there. I mean, I play old school. I played old school. You started the game, you're going to play until you run out of action. All right, it's going to be a 2-column. 2-column 6, which is a 55. And 2-column 1 is a 58, and a raised number is 4. So let's see. See what it tells me to do. It was, what did I say was a 58, column 2. It's going to say looping drive to the outfield. If the defensive, if outfielder's defensive rating is higher than the raised number, and I guess I went to 1. The blue fielder, it's the left fielder, and that's going to be Rudy. So he's going to make that catch. Runners on second and third advance 1 base if their speed is higher than the outfielder's arm. Okay, so Harrelson, pretty speedy, I'd say. Let's see what it is. He's a 4. Let's see if it's higher than Rudy. Rudy is a left field. He's a 4, so it is not higher, so he does not advance. F7. All right, so 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. The game slowed up a little bit. So this is 28-29. This is the 29th batter, Felix Mian. Here's the pitch to Felix Mian. It's a 4, and a 3 is a 1, and a 2 is a 1. That's going to be infield is halfway, and it's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. We should have maybe had Garrett bunt. Would have put runners on second and third. Don't know why I didn't think of that. All right, so no runs on no hits, a walk and an error. We go to top of the 8th. Now we can get a pinch hitter. It's going to be Darren Johnson. Power hitter, Nolan Ryan. It's a 6. Uh-oh, that's trouble. Darren Johnson had 20 home runs. And now it's going to be a 3, a 36, and a 6 is a 39. I believe that's a strikeout. And it is. So he blows one by the pinch hitter, Johnson. And a big K. Next is going to be Campy Campaneris in the top of the 8th. It's 2-1 Mets. This is game 4. Mets are up in the series 3-0. It's going to be a 4, and then a 3 is a 25. 25 and a 2 is a second base. Second baseman Mian's a 2, so it's a 27. So it's a 427, and that is a bunt down the line. Bunt down the line. Okay. So Campaneris, yeah, that makes sense. And he's a 5. Holy smokes. So bunt down the line, roll 2 dice against the, it's pretty darn good. If both dice are higher than a 2, the batter is out. All right, got to roll 2 dice, see what happens. And he is out. So great play by Felix Mian. Charges on the bunt, whips it over to first base, scoop by Milner. Yeah. 4-3 for the second out. Wow. All right. How are we doing on time? Oh, I got like 10 minutes. I'm never going to make it. All right, 4. And that's a 4, and that's a 6, and an 18, and 18, and a 4. Ryan, the 2, the shortstop is a 2, so it's an 18. We're going to roll. It's a 53, and it's an error. Is it going to be a 2-base error? Let's see if it's 2-base error. 2-base error. If blue die is a 6, it's a 2-base error. Let's see. And it's not. So it's a 1-base error. 2 outs. E6. All right. So Rudy's on at first base. 2 outs, and here's Salbando. Uh-oh, that's a 6. That is trouble. 29, 27, 28, 29. He can still go 4 more. 34. So that's a 6, and that's a 6. That's an 11. Oh, that is trouble. That's a 12. That's a deep drive. That's a deep drive. That's a 12, and it says home run down the line. So that's pulled down the line, and that is fair ball. Game is the A's have taken a 3-2 lead here in the top of the 8th inning. Big home run by Sal Bando after the error. So these are going to be unearned runs, because that error would have been the 3rd out. That's too bad. No, but it's good. So we keep the series going. All right, Reggie Jackson. We don't want another 6. That's a 5. That's a 3. And then a 3 is a 4. 3, 4, and that is a fly ball right field. Shallow right field. Racing in is Legrand Orange. He gets there. But the A's pick up 2 runs on a hit and an error. The home run by Sal Bando. And they lead it by a score of 3-2. Bottom of the 8th. It's going to be Rusty Staub. We're going to get a new pitcher. And you know who it's going to be? It's going to be Raleigh Fingers, who hasn't really pitched much in this series. Simply because you know what? We're going to get Daryl Knowles. Why? Because there's 2 lefties coming in. That's usually how I play this. 2 lefties coming in. We're going to get Daryl Knowles. So Knowles is coming in, and he went 7, and he's in there for the potential win question mark for Holtzman. Daryl Knowles is going to face Rusty Staub. Here goes. It's a 4, and a 4 is a 2, and then a 3 is a 3rd baseman. Bando is a 3, so that's a ground ball that Bando backhands. Long throw to first in time to get Staub. Cleon Jones at the 5, and a 4 is a 1F. And then the F, I think, is that it sends us to the I believe that sends us to the action chart under F. I think that's what that means. Okay, so let's go back to this. It's a 5-4. It's a 1F, and then the 3 is a 5, so it's a 6. It's a 5-6, and that is going to be a base on balls. So Jones walks, and now we're going to see what happens on the F chart. That's a 7 on the F chart. A 7 is a stolen base plus a potential error. So stolen base, roll against the catcher's error rating. If the roll is higher, all right, so the catcher's error rating, Fossey, is a 41, and it is an error. So that's going to send Jones with a tying run to 3rd base. So E2, so it's going to be stolen base, and then E2 to 3rd base. Wow. Crazy turn of events right there. With 1 out, Jones walks, steals 2nd, throw, gets by the shortstop, Campy, for an error on Fossey, allowing the tying run to make it to third base now, 90 feet away. Infield is in for the A's. We're in the bottom of the eighth. Darryl Knowles against the lefty Milner. And that's a 1. And a 4 is a 35. And a 3 is a 38. And a 38 is going to be a ground ball. With the infield in. It's okay. A 38 is a ground ball to third. Infield in, out at first as lead runner holds. Okay. So 5-3. Wow. And now it's going to be Jerry Grody, a righty. So this is we're going to bring in. We're going to bring in Raleigh Fingers. So Raleigh Fingers is coming in here, trying to hold on for the A's. So Raleigh Fingers comes in, and so Knowles went 2/3, 0.2, and here goes Jerry Grody. It's a 1, and a 2 says a 35, and then a 3 is a 36, 136, and that is a ground ball again to Bando at third. Up with it, fires the first in time, and that retires the side. Wow, that was a close one. No runs, no hits. Top of the ninth. Ryan's going to be out, and we're going to bring in Tug McGraw. So McGraw's coming in. Where does he go? Right here. All right. And he is going to be facing he's going to be facing Vic Davalia. All right, so 1 and a 5 is a 5, and a 3 is a 7. A 1-7, and that's going to be popped up. Second base. Right there's Mian. 1 up, 1 down. Next is Alu. Oh, it's a 1, and a 6 is a 45. A 45 and a 3 is a 47. 147, that's a strikeout. And it's Ray Fossey. A 2 and a 6 is a 60. And then a 2 and a 3 is a 61. The Ray's number is a 2. So 61 says it's a 3 center field. My center fielder, Han, so the number is higher, so Han makes a fine running catch in the gap. And that retires the side. No runs, no hits. And we go to bottom of the ninth, 3-2 A's. Wow. Okay, it's going to be Don Hahn leading us off against Raleigh Fingers. It's a 6. And that's a 5. It's a 36. And then a 2 is a 37. And a 637 is a strikeout. 1 up, 1 down for the Mets. Next is Buddy Harrelson. We're not pinch hitting for Harrelson. It's a 5. And a 3 is a 6. And a 1 is a 7. 5-7. That's a base on balls. There is a raised number there, and the raised number says if pitcher has a raised number besides one of these 5, 6, 6, 7, roll 1 die. If the die is higher than the number, score a base on balls. Okay, he's got a 1, and it is higher, so it's a walk. So Harrelson walks on at first with a tying run, and now we get a pinch hitter. It is going to be the Say Hey Kid. The Say Hey Kid's coming in. Willie Mays. All right, Harrelson on at first. Mays in the box. Here's the pitch from Raleigh Fingers. It's a 6. Wow. And a 10. Oh, my God. And a 1. Oh, my God. That's an 11. Wow, that could have been great. A pinch hit, walk-off home run for the Say Hey Kid. That would have been something. That's a 10 with a star, whatever the hell that means. Then you got a 1K raised number 4. So anyway, I know it's an 11, and let's see what it says. An 11 is a single to right with 2 outs, runners advance 2 bases. That's all I'm going to look at right now. The pitcher has a raised number there. He does, a 4 beside his column 6, and the result is a home run. It's not. So it's a single, runners on first and third. All right, tying run is 90 feet away for Garrett. So Willie Mays comes through big time. It feels in, and it's a 2. A 2-5, which is a 5. And a 2-5, that's strike 3. Big strikeout for Raleigh Fingers, Mr. Handlebar Mustache. And now it's Felix Millan. Let's see if we could track Felix Millan on this. The A's are 1 out away from avoiding elimination. Did I put Felix Millan up here somewhere? Probably. Usually I do stuff like that. Yeah, there he is. All right, Felix Millan is up. Here's a pitch from runners on first and third. It's a 3. That's a hit line. That's a hit column, right? So a 3 and a 5. And he was actually a decent hitter, batted 290 for that team. The Mets were terrible. So a 3-5 is a 3. A 3. And then it's a 1. That's a 4. A 3-4. And that's going to be a short fly to right field. Racing in is Jackson. Gets there. And that's the ball game. So the A's avoid elimination. Final score. The A's 3, Mets 2. Wow. And Kenny Holtzman is going to get the victory. Fingers is going to get a save. Ryan's going to take the loss. And that's it. Big hit. MVP is going to, I guess, going to go to Sal Bando with that top of the 8th 2-run home run. And the GOAT award goes to the shortstop Buddy Harrelson, who made a 2-out error in the top of the 8th to extend the inning. Kenny Holtzman had some tough luck there because both those runs were unearned. And the hits for the A's were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 error. Oh, 2 errors, actually. 2 errors. 1 error for the Mets. Mets had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. Close game. 3 runs for the A's. 3 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors. Mets had 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. And I just had to bring in Willie Mays there. Just had to do it. I mean, I should have brought in a lefty maybe because Fingers is a righty, but I just wanted to get a chance to play with Willie Mays. I never get a chance to do that very much. I never play those San Francisco or any of those teams. Anyway, this is CP Cards and Dice saying thanks for stopping by, checking us out. So we're going to have a game 5 now. We are going to get to see Tom Seaver and Jerry Kuzman. Hopefully, I'm not sure who pitches next. I can't remember. I know it was Matlack. I think it was Matlack, Kuzman, and then Seaver win game 3. So the next game is going to be Jerry Kuzman against, I guess, Vital Blue maybe, or Catfish Hunter, one of those. Anyway, this is CP Cards and Dice. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the game. The A's win it, so they avoid elimination in 4 straight. They avoid being swept. So the Mets are up 3 games to 1. This is replay baseball. I'm getting a little bit faster at it. This game took me about an hour, and I got to go get my wife. Take care, guys. Thank you for stopping by. I wish you the best.